guilty of crime.
I don't know what happened, y'all, but something happened. So I'm going to have to reset this. Welcome, everybody. I'm Jay with Guilty of Crime. I don't know if you can see me, but the moment I hit the go, this happened. So let me do this because I have a big case for you today, y'all. And trigger warning before we start. Trigger warning. Let me refresh this again. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened, y'all. You guys might be getting a green screen here. It told me no. Okay, can you guys see me? Anyways, do me a favor, hit that like button. I guess we're going to have this as a background and I might have to update. I hope I didn't lose some people here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me know if you guys can hear me and see. Okay, good, good. Yeah, I guess I'm on a green screen today, y'all. There it is. I'm back and I'm green. I could wear anything today. Maybe you guys can see the pickle now. Oh, look at that. This is perfect. Yeah, you guys see the green screen, but you can now see the things that you couldn't see before. So there's the grumpy pickle. That's kind of going to be a trigger warning, everybody. Yeah, it's cool. You guys are going to see a green screen. That's the best it's going to get today. But I got Mr. Pickle, which is dill hole that you can now see. You can see the grumpy pickle. You guys can see it all now. Welcome. Happy New Year's Eve. There's a little praying look at that. A little praying frog that says its prayers when we hit those angel numbers. We can see all of it. We can see the avocado, we can see everything. Welcome, welcome. And my messy hair. Okay. What's up everybody? Welcome. Hit the like button. This is a crazy case, you guys. This is a very crazy case. Yeah, pickle, pickle, pickle. Welcome. Hello. Happy New Year. I guess it worked out the best it could. Yeah, because you can now see my stuff. I can hug the pickle. And if we ever find the yodeling one, then we'll bring the yodel back. Anyway, that's how it's gonna be today. Welcome. Welcome everybody. You guys, I gotta start off with a giant trigger warning. And the reason I'm starting off with the giant trigger warning is because today, JonBenet Ramsey, autopsy clues, and you're going to hear an untold story with clues that we've missed all along. So I'm going to tell a little backstory to it in the way that I do, but I also want to warn you, the autopsy, I'm not going to show things that I have that I put a trigger warning on Patreon. And on Patreon, I want you guys to know that the document that I have with the crime scene photos, okay, there's crime scene photos and autopsy photos. Okay, so those autopsy photos, I want you guys to know that there's no paywall. Now, we found this. Carrie, one of my girls that helps me do research, found this link just on a regular old website. I don't know how, but I found that link for you so you can follow along. But it has pictures of the crime scene and the autopsy, the actual autopsy with now JonBenet Ramsey. You guys know, if you don't know, she was strangled. So those pictures are on there. There's bruises, there's all that. I'm not showing that today, but it's on my Patreon for free. So if you're not a member and you want to follow along on Patreon, you can go and sign up and get the link. You're good to go. Okay. So, but massive trigger warning because I sent that over to Bree, which is our mod, and she said, well, I could have lived without that. Now, when you do true crime, you see a lot of things and you kind of get desensitized to it. Okay, so I'm very desensitized to autopsy photos and crime scene photos, especially from serial killers, things like that. Okay, all right, pretty cute. We're gonna get into that. You think that? All right, let's get started with. First, I'm just gonna start off with a little clip and tell you. So we'll start off with this, so I can um, say JonBenet Ramsey timeline and evidence 28 years later. All right. And then I'll start getting into, I'm going to show you some crazy pictures and we're going to get to the autopsy. But for those of you that may not know that JonBenet Ramsey was found not alive in her home in 1996, 6 years old, death gained national attention nearly 28 years later. Case is still unsolved. So I'm going to play this quick clip. This is not what I had in mind, but it's what I'm doing now because I'm trying to improvise with what happened with my screen.
That you believe have not been tested. I think the big question is, how do you know, considering they seem to be keeping everything so close to the vest?
Yeah, we don't know for sure. What we do know is about a dozen or so items were sent.
Okay, so this is now. I want you guys to know this is now. I'm going to go back in a minute and I'm going to talk about before. I'm going to show you pictures of the beauty queens of the beauty queen photos. But right now, this is right now the search on JonBenet Ramsey and DNA that's being tested right now. Hello, Carrie. This is right now. This little article that just came out in December at the beginning of this month. And that's why this case is gaining such national attention because of this and the Netflix documentary that came out. Thank you. We're going to call you Snee for the Guilty of Crime membership, and it's New Year's Eve. So if you guys do have the means to donate or get memberships, please do. Thanks, Ashley. My hair is a little out of sorts. I just got back from the lazy dog, and I tried to hurry up and get back here for you guys all. So maybe my camera moved or something. I don't know what happened with it, but whatever. It is what it is, right? It is what it is, folks. I have no idea what's going on today. All right, let's go with this. Thank you, Azarabella, for the 149 super sticker. I appreciate you guys. And again, we can have all of our little guys. I'm going to take this out so you can see it. I love it before we get started. They said the DNA was tampered with. You're right. And we're going to dig deep into this. So here's our grumpy pickle. All right. And this is a bit of a trigger warning as well. So please, I'm giving you a trigger warning. Please, please, please. Yes, something is going on with the case. Only me, baby. That's what we're talking about right now. There are new things, items that are being tested with for DNA. And that's why the case is so hot. That's why Netflix came out with it. And that's what we're about to listen to right now. Now, the cops are tight-lipped about the case because they're testing things, all right? But very much trigger warning to this entire episode, all right? Again, the Patreon link that I posted with the autopsy and the photos is a trigger warning. It's not behind a paywall, but there's a massive trigger warning because it's available to the public. Jojo, thank you for the $5. This is for everyone who wants to donate and can't. And thank you to help fix my roof. which they're working on today. Thank the Lord above. All right, let's go. So this is now, and we're going to go back though.
To a DNA lab, a testing lab, in early January after JonBenet was murdered. And some were returned untested. And we have a list of what was returned untested back in 1997. They did recover DNA at that time, and it was reported to the police that they recovered unidentified male DNA. It did not match John, did not match Patsy, did not match Burke. And that became a bit of a problem for the police because they already concluded that one of us was the murderer. And so they tried to, for a long time, to explain away the DNA. So what we want to happen, you know, technology's advanced so far now in 30 years. For this to be really evaluated correctly, it needs to go to an outside lab, of which there are a few very cutting edge labs now. They need a new sample. They need to.
So this is what's happening right now. So I know this guy talks a little, so this is what's happening right now. I can't do this right now, Reese. All right. So yeah, if you're asking, you might have to go back. You might have to go back and take a look because we're going to go forward and then we're going to go back. Many years later to find a DNA test. Yes. Yes, because the DNA testing wasn't available back then. And there's so many different things going on. I love you, Sadie's mama, but let's not right now talk about the channels just yet. I'm going to do the autopsy with True Crime Rocket Science, so I will drop their link, but let's not do that while I'm streaming, please. Happy New Year, Millie. Thank you. And Happy New Year to everybody. Let me hit play on this.
Test the evidence themselves and retrieve, hopefully, a DNA sample. And then they will go and do a familial DNA genealogy search to try to find the killer. We think that's the best shot.
Yeah, that's a key to solving so many cold cases. I have to ask you this, because it's hard for a lot of people to remember this, and some people watching weren't even around, 28 years ago, believe it or not. It's been so long. But in 1996, when JonBenet was killed, they did determine that there was some male DNA, unidentified male DNA.
All right, so we're gonna talk about all that, you guys, and all the people that have gotten into this case, and you think you know what you know, you probably don't know because it's gone such a different way, and the clues that we missed during the autopsy, along with the DNA that's coming. And no worries, Sadie's mama. I don't want everyone to go. Just think about that. We're streaming here. I don't want everyone to run out and start going somewhere else. Like, oh, let me check that out. We want you guys here because I don't want you guys to miss what's happening. Rose Bassinger, 112 Reasons Why Jay makes me want to switch sides. Well, thank you. Happy New Year. Wow. That's an honor, I would imagine. Love you guys. All right. And Emily, Jane, and sorry, I don't like the parents that dress her their dog. Yes, I agree. I was going to talk about this too. I have so many pictures of her. I don't like this. And a personal story for you is, my daughter is beautiful, but when she was born, she came out almost perfect. And my wife said, we need to get her into like beauty pageants, or not like this, but like maybe commercials and I said, nope, absolutely not. I'd rather stay the way I am now and not be having my daughter out there than to be like this. These pictures that I see of her are a pedo's dream, you guys. They are. And when I show you the one that bothers me the most, you'll understand why. Happy New Year, little misfit. Thanks for donating yesterday, Rosie. Happy New Year's Eve. We might as well say it's New Year's. All right. So that bothers me too. Let's get through this and I'll start presenting the case.
In her underwear. And then 11 years later in 2007, they did touch DNA because they got better at the science, right? And they found touch DNA on the leggings that she was wearing, the waistband of the leggings that she was wearing, and it was the same as the DNA from the underwear, which made me think, do you think, John, it's possible they got all the DNA they need? They have the profile of the killer. They're just waiting for that profile to show up somewhere. They're waiting for him to commit a crime, enter into a database, or some other way to just catch him.
No, that's very true. They have a DNA sample. It's in the CODIS, the federal database of DNA samples. That's a database of felons, typically rapists, people that have done bad things. It's not that big of a database, believe it or not. The public database is hundreds of millions of samples. My DNA is in the public database. I sent my $25 in. That's the database.
Now, I definitely am not downing anybody. There's shows nowadays where it's all beauty pageants. So anybody and everybody, I respect your philosophy of life or your, being a Southern thing. I'm not saying it's not okay. I'm saying it's not okay for me. I'm saying it's not okay for my daughter. The world goes round and everybody has different opinions, different things. Beauty pageants are everywhere. They're all over television. But what I'm saying is I'm not okay with that. So you guys, yeah, do your thing, but just be careful because these are a pedo's dream. That's all I have to say about that. Rose says interesting about touch DNA because if JonBenet was in the same underwear from the day before, it hadn't changed, she had been at the party around men. Right. But this is not about a party around men. When we get into the autopsy and the details and the people, you're not even going to think that. You're going to see something much different than you probably remember 28 years ago. All right. So let's keep going. Man, this is an awful case.
Basically, to go to and do a research project. It won't be easy, but this has been done successfully in a lot of old cold cases, and work back and find the relative of a near match that was living in Boulder, Colorado in 1997, December.
Yes.
That we believe is our best hope of finding the killer. The technology is there to do that. They're willing to do it. They have to be asked by the police to do it. And to date, the police say, well,
do you know though, John?
Yeah.
This is the interesting thing. Do you know for sure that they haven't? Because I keep playing it through my mind like these guys want this off their backs, right? The Boulder police have been buffoons in this case for 28 years. Yeah. And so do you think it's possible they may have already gone into the available genealogy bases and they're just waiting for someone to take that test himself or a family member to give a Christmas present and hope someone will submit?
Yeah, I sure hope so. I wish I could believe that. I don't. I have no reason to believe that's what they're doing. I've been told by the new police chief, and he's a good guy. I like him, and he's from the outside of the department, which is huge. Has taken over as a permanent chief of police. He said, well, there's some things going on that I can't tell you about. So, well, I wish I'd have challenged him and say, well, why can't you tell me? I'm the...
So that's where we are right now, you guys. As of December 31st, 2024, as we go into the new year, this is what we're working with. Now, as we go back, things are going to look much different than you remember. And I don't know if you guys seen the autopsy, but it's brutal. The way that they took her life is brutal. It's not just as simple or, she was at a party the day before and someone did something to her, in an essay way. It's much more brutal. It's much worse. And I cannot understand why somebody would need to do that to a 6-year-old. It just doesn't make any sense. You don't need to use that kind of force or brutality. And Rebecca, Russ, they have something up their sleeve, and we're going to look at the ransom note. We're going to compare the ransom note with Patsy's handwriting, and we're going to listen to the 911 call today. So even if you haven't watched the Netflix, this is going to fill you in on what they're talking about. Now, I watched the Netflix thing. I watched some of it. I didn't watch all of it. It's really slow and they show old footage. And I'm kind of like, man, I've seen this already. So I love that you guys are all here. And just remember, I'm going to say this once before people come in and start blasting me. Do your thing. If you're in a beauty pageant, just watch your children like a hawk and be mindful that the people that are seeing these photos might be thinking of your child in a different way than you want them to. Welcome, Alice Perez. Yes, hashtag arrest Jen Soto. And we're going to say Stinky Stearns, right? All right. So just remember that. And thank you, Jojo, for the guilty of crime membership. I appreciate you. That's what I've been saying for years. It was brutal. Whoever did it is pure evil. Right. And you guys are going to see even more. So, trigger warning on this whole thing. And don't think that I'm blasting anyone for those that might have their kids in a beauty pageant or their grandkids or whatever. I'm not blasting you. I'm not blasting you. Okay. I'm not blasting anyone. I'm just presenting the case. All right. We're almost done with this.
Father, it's my child. But so I don't know what he's talking about, but we'll see. But until I know concretely that they're doing that, I have no reason to believe that.
Love saving money? Then it's
All right. Let's get out of here. So that was a good little article or little news clip. Again, JonBenet Ramsey, 28 years later, 6-year-old beauty pageant, 1996 in Boulder, Colorado, national attention. All right. Now various theories have been implicated throughout the years, including her parents, her brother, and known criminals and a unknown intruder. But there have been no definitive answers as to who's responsible. All right. So 5:52 a.m. December 26th, Patsy Ramsey calls the police to report JonBenet missing. She tells them that she found a handwritten ransom note on the kitchen table demanding $118,000 to return JonBenet. All right. In addition, we got police, friends, and the Ramseys come to the house for support. Forensic team seals it off. We're going to see some of that stuff today, but does not treat the rest of the house as a crime scene. So December 26th, 1996, 1 p.m., police asked John Ramsey and a friend to search the home. They begin in the basement where they find JonBenet's body in a room previously overlooked by police. You guys remember the first time they called, they didn't find JonBenet Ramsey. She has duct tape over her mouth and a cord around her neck, and wrists are partially covered by a blanket. Okay. So April 1997, we're talking about the investigation. Police identified John and Patsy Ramsey as the main suspects. As a key piece of evidence in the ransom note, while handwriting analysis ruled out John Ramsey, experts say they could not rule out Patsy Ramsey as the author. The main theory in the Patsy Ramsey was that she accidentally took JonBenet's life in a fit of anger over the girl wetting her bed. Now, the investigators speculate that the couple then staged the crime scene and ransom note to cover it up. All right, we're going to take a look at this with you. Photos of her participating in pageants also attract media attention because, and you guys are right, the family is over their performance perceived as overly sexualized for a young child. We're going to get past this. Sorry about that. I don't know why they do that on here. It's not on YouTube. That's why. But I'll get you as soon as it's over. AARP, you guys. You can call now. I'm going to ask them to sponsor my show. Hey, sponsor AARP. And after this, we're going to get into the 911 call. We're going to get into the autopsy. And we're going to talk about the clues they missed. All right. I waited and waited. And
well as anyone, he still has questions about John and his late wife, Patsy. The former special prosecutor on the case, Michael Caine, he is featured in the Netflix documentary. Michael, good to see you again. Thanks for doing the show. We appreciate it. So let me start with the big picture question. You're still not ready to rule out the parents, are you?
No, I'm not. And
now this is recent again. So we're going recent. I wanted to catch you up with where we are today. And then we're going to move backwards and get into everything, you guys. We got a couple episodes, maybe more. It's crazy that you think you know something 28 years later and you don't. And you don't, you guys. And welcome, Leanne. Love you, girl. Appreciate you. All right. They're still not ruling out the parents, you guys, but we have a lot of other, so much information.
I'm not suggesting that one way or another I know who did it. For 25 years, that question's been in my mind. But I don't think, given the state of the evidence, that you can rule anybody out.
Why is that? I mean, what is it about the evidence that still makes you have questions about the parents?
Well, I think it's, if you gave me a few days to talk about it, I might be able to summarize it. But in some there have been many cases in this country where people have wakened up to find their children missing, Paula Class, Elizabeth Smart, there's just a couple of them. And in each of those cases, there was a predictable way that the parents would act. They wanted to find out who killed their child, but there was also a predictable way that the police would act. And that is, you look at first who was in the house, and you have to eliminate them. If you can't eliminate the people in the house, then you're really, you're never going to convict anybody, because that's going to be the alternative suspect. And I don't think that Mr. and Mrs. Ramsey, even though I told them the first time I interviewed him that that's what we need to do, they, to me, always opted to shield themselves rather than.
All right. Now, if you haven't seen the Netflix documentary, it's like you almost don't. We're going to go through so many things between today and tomorrow. It's a lot of the father in the documentary. He talks really slow, kind of like this guy does. So to me, I'm like, oh, come on, get it together faster. I want to see more. I want some happening. I want to see the autopsy. I want to hear about it. I want to. Right. And welcome, Carrie. Thank you. We love you. You've been such a big help in this community. Even though people might not know, Carrie helps me quite a bit with a lot of things behind the scenes. And no, she's not a mod, but I definitely trust her with information, and she gives me fantastic information, and she does deep dives. So she's like the behind the scenes person that you just don't know about. But I want to thank you today and wish you a happy new year. All right. So yeah, there are so many theories going around, but yeah, this he's in it quite a bit.
Then go after and help us go after who might have done this. And to me, that was striking. Now like I say, there are 50 different things that I could talk about now that to me raise questions. On the other hand, there's a lot of things that raise questions about whether an intruder came in the house. All I'm saying is that I don't think you can eliminate anybody at this point.
Let me play. This is from the documentary. This is about the ransom note, which to me is probably the most interesting piece of evidence there.
And we're going to get into this right after the 911 call. I cannot wait to go over this with you. This is kind of like the Jen Soto case and Madeline. Even though they did find Madeline, they found her. Madeline's is kind of solved, not so much, but there are some striking similarities here. It's very interesting. I didn't think of it that way. Wow. Again, if you're on my Patreon already or you're not and you go over there, please be warned. Please don't come back and say, Jay, I wasn't ready to see that. If you don't want to see autopsy photos, don't look. Please. I'm not going to show them today, but I'm going to show you the link that I posted on there. And that way you guys can follow along if you want.
And there were indications at the outset that the handwriting had matched Patsy Ramsey's, but then there were
I'm going to show you
about that and people challenging that. Here's number 4.
Very early on, there was massive police leaking that Patsy Ramsey had written the ransom note.
At least 4 experts, and 2 of them from the Secret Service, looked at the handwriting and said, Patsy Ramsey did not write the note.
They didn't like the answer, so they leaked information saying she did write it.
Now, look, I think we can all agree the ransom note was a fake. Whoever wrote this ransom note didn't mean it. They weren't part of a small foreign faction. They weren't looking for ransom. JonBenet's body was found in the basement. What is the story from your perspective with regard?
We're going to listen to this. Is only a couple more minutes, and then I'm going to be explaining this, but I wanted you guys to be caught up to speed. I totally missed that. $4.99, Jen's a Gypsy. Happy New Year, Jay, and Guilty of Crime. Praying for a good new year. If you guys hear banging in the background, that's them working on my roof. So please ignore that. It's much needed. Much needed. All right. And thank you, Rosie. I didn't see that. Thank you, Foxy Amazon. Leanne, thank you for being a member for a month. So proud to be part of the amazing family. Barb, Rolf, thank you so very much. And Jamie, I'll call you Jamie K, but love you, girl, and all of you guys so very much. You guys have no idea what you mean to me this year and how much you care for my family, that we're getting a roof. And I'll keep you guys posted as we get our ceilings and we get our room and our floors and all that. But right now we're going to be a little bit warmer this holiday because there actually will be a roof. All right. No more tarp. The tarp's down, guys. The tarp's out of here. All right. And I just took out a new roof loan for 14,000. Well, you know how much they want for my roof? Garden Critters. I'm in San Jose, so they want 23,000 because I have solar, and they have to take the solar panels off, which they're charging another 5,000 for. Yeah, the bangs in the background are not fireworks, Sadie's mama, but they're working on the roof, which I'm very happy. Let's get to 200 likes so we can give some membership. We have 217 people in here, and we have a very big show. All right, let's listen up for a second.
To Patsy Ramsey's handwriting and the note.
Well, I think, first of all, if the theory is that this was a vicious sexual predator, why in the world would the person write a 2.5-page note that, excuse me, starts out as a political statement, then gets into a ransom? That's not what sexual predators do. They want to abuse somebody.
Right.
They want to get in, they want to get out. So you have to ask yourself, why is this there? It was clearly, as you said, it's a fake note. It was made as a diversion. Why did the person want to make a diversion? As far as the handwriting goes, you know, I one day when I was working on this case, I wrote this out in my left hand, and you probably could have convinced.
Now, I want you guys to know that we will get into that, but you know, it just brought me back to 28 years ago. I didn't even realize that they didn't find JonBenet the first day. That's absolutely crazy. They came in there, they thought an intruder came in, and they thought that she was kidnapped, when in fact she was right there hidden behind a little, like, in their basement or in the area. We'll get down to that. But that's absolutely insane that somebody was thinking she was kidnapped and she was right there the whole time. So many things about this case say that it's an inside job for me, and I hope that we do find out at some point. I really do. But you guys tell me. Happy new roof, my favorite crime lady. Thank you. Happy New Year's Eve, you guys. Appreciate you guys. All right, let's keep going.
Convicted me based on how it looked, because it looked nothing like my right hand writing, because when you write with your dominant hand, your brain is doing it passively. When you write with your non-dominant hand, you're thinking about your drawing is really what it is. So I can't be sure that whoever, I can say, and others have said that this handwriting wasn't done with anybody in the house's dominant hand, but I don't know that anybody could say that it wasn't done with the non-dominant hand.
All right. Now I want to talk about something that came up much later, that when I heard this news, this came up years later, that
If you're 50 or over, you can be taking advantage of everything AARP has to offer right.
Why are they going to do that? Right in the middle. Watch, it's probably ending. It doesn't matter if it does, because we got so much more to get into, and we have a whole other episode, probably even more than that. So they're just throwing in. Does anyone need AARP? Paul, love you, Paul. Do you need some AARP? What is AARP anyway? All right, I'm gonna give you. Okay, they cut it off for me. That's okay, because we got this to get into. I'm gonna go back. I think I stopped sharing it with you guys. Thank you, Rachel Burton. I appreciate you. It's not going as planned, but it's okay. I'm gonna pull up some pictures. Thank you so much, Rachel, and all of you guys. I love that you're here. I love that you guys all have theories. I think people stopped. Many people stopped even looking at this case at some point, and they said, "I'm not going to look at this. What the heck?" I want to pull up a picture of her. Well, there's so many pictures of her, but there's this one particular one that bothers me a lot. All right. And I'm pretty sure it's her mom, but when I first saw this and I looked at it, I said, why? Why? All right. I'll pull this up as I talk and stuff. There's so many pictures, you guys. All right. I don't want to miss anybody either. Rosie, Happy New Year. Choo, choo. Yes. Happy New Year's Eve. I'm glad to be spending it with you. It's 4:30 here in San Jose, so I don't know what time it is where you are, but Hopefully the fireworks start going off soon. All right. Come on. The minute he thought that his daughter was kidnapped, he didn't think of the window that was broken. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. You guys, when you watch the documentary, he's on the documentary on Netflix, so it's really weird. I always thought, and I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I always thought it was the brother, but then I looked back at it and I was like, man, that brother would have had to been really twisted. He was only 9 years old, you guys. I mean, that's yeah, trigger warning. I'm leaving the grocery store right now, and there's a croc in the grass. Oh, a croc? What's a croc, Carrie? Did you spell that right? Okay. Yeah, trigger warning. I'm going to put up a picture. This picture bothered me a lot, and there are a lot of other pictures I'm going to show you. You think that the mom covered for the dad. I think we're going to find out sooner or later. Why would, after finding the ransom note, tell him not to call police as a parent, would you go follow the letter to keep her safe? And they ran to call. I don't know. You're going to hear all this. I love you guys. All right. So this picture bothers me a lot. First, before looking twice, the first time I looked, I said, I didn't see the top. I didn't see that it was a female's top right there. I just saw a belt and I saw a shirt. And I said, is she holding wait, what? Is she holding a man's belt and right by his waist? And then I looked again and it's a woman and she's holding the belt. And then I saw her chest area and it's stuffed, you guys. It's stuffed. Oh, a croc. Okay, like Maddie's croc. Okay, I'm going to take this off for a minute because I'm not playing anything. All right, so listen up. Look at this picture. I'm going to show you some more. All right, I thought it was a man. Thank you, Olivia, Queen Olivia. I thought it was a man, and I thought she was by the belt buckle and by the waist. So I'm like, oh, yeah. I thought it was like if a pedo was looking at that, they're like, oh yeah, they're seeing it different than we are. But look at this too. Look at that. They stuffed her. They stuffed her chest area, you guys. I don't know why they did that, but they did. Look at this. That is not a little girl's chest area. And when you see other pictures that I'm going to scroll through, it's not like that. So they are purposely doing that in this picture, which is absolutely like just unfathomable for me. All right, I'm going to scroll through the pictures. You guys take a look. Isn't that weird? When you first see that, I thought it was a man, and she was holding the man's belt and she was by his crotch area, and they're really pushing. Yeah, they're pushing AARP. I should say, hey, you guys sponsor me, AARP. All right, yes, this is the one that makes me the sickest. Is that because they gave her boobs and they've got her by a belt buckle and by a waist. I don't know why. I don't think that's supposed to be Santa. I think it's just the mom dressed up with her. Okay, so I'm going to go through some of these photos and then I'm going to, and I love you, Paul. Happy New Year. Got to bounce before the roads get bad. AARP. What the? See you guys. I love you. I love teasing you. You're my guy. This is my Papa Paul. Merry New Year. Happy New Year. All that. Okay, now let's keep going. That's not, it actually, we're going to keep going. You say it's pleated, Michelle, but I'm going to say I beg to differ that it was maybe not stuffed, but it was pleated and there was like a bra padded underneath. It is one of the fluffy shirts too, but it's both. Now we can agree to disagree here. I disagree, and I'm going to keep going through the pictures. I don't like it. I don't like that she's 6 years old and her face can be in her 20s, and we know how pedos look. It is puffy. It's both. It's both, you guys. It could be one or both or none. And I take your opinions, but I'm going to say what I think. Does anyone remember the disgusting movie Pretty Baby? Brooke Shields played it. I do remember that. And Brooke Shields played a lot of questionable roles. Clark. I've watched a documentary on Brooke Shields, and there was a lot of things. And it is the style of the era. I agree, but I don't like it. I'm allowed to not like it, right? Okay, so we'll agree on that. Jay from Guilty of Crime is allowed to not like it, and I'm a prude. I don't want my daughter looking like that. So all good, you guys. Puffy isn't stuff to look like. Yes, Flossie, thank you. So we can agree to disagree, and I'm going to disagree and say I hate that. And I hate that for my daughter because I'm a mom, all right? I'm saying that because her arms are turned. Yeah, you can. I agree, but I don't like how it looks. Maybe I'm wrong, but it looks that way. All right, so let's keep going. I love you guys, and I value your opinion. It does look like a Seinfeld puffy shirt, Ashley. I agree, but it also looks like a suggestive pic, and I can see through Chomo's eyes. And we're gonna keep going because that's not the only picture, right? So I'm gonna just go through here and tell you what I think. All right, let me see if I got this one. This one's acceptable. Hold on, 1 second. Oh, it didn't let me do that. 1 sec. I don't like what my thing's doing today. All right, where'd it go? Nope, it doesn't like what I'm doing. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing that for a second and I'll start over. Let's start with number 1, and I'll tell you what I think, and I'm going to show you some of our pictures because a lot of times we don't get to see things like this when you come back into 2020, almost 5. You don't get to see all this. So yeah, it looks suggestive and it bothers me, period. I will. I'm 45 years old and I'll still joke around like that. Okay, so I did. Any pictures, Ashley, without makeup? Yes. So let's scroll through these real quick, okay? Yeah, I don't know, but we're gonna go through this and I'll tell you, hey, I like these ones or I don't. My computer is being terrible today. All right. So those are cute little pictures, right? I'm gonna scroll through the cute little pictures. Isn't that adorable? She's such a pretty little girl. She reminds me of Reese and like what Reese would wear with her backwards hat and her oversized shirt. Just a cute little angel. All right. So remember what we're talking about right now. Her life was taken in a brutal fashion, you guys. So remember that. All right, let's go through it. She's still cute there. It doesn't look like she has a lot of makeup on. There's makeup there. This was an ABC Nightline thing. Little bit okay. A lot of these are in black and white. There's one of the questionable ones, but that one gets even worse for me. It's not stuff. There's nothing too revealing, and I guess that's how pageants are. All right, that one's her normal age. Nothing. She looks like a little woman, but still a cute little girl, no makeup. Cute little. She's a beautiful little angel. Rest in peace, JonBenet. All right, so we're going to go through some photos. They got her dressed like a little boy with her hat. My daughter dresses like that. Then we got the Ramsey front page. I like the fact that for the front page, they used that. Right? And some of you guys are. Some of you guys are for child pageants and some of you against it. So thank you for your opinion. Bestie77, Happy New Year. All right. That's a cool pic. That picture is cool. The other one was cool. This one's okay that they used for the taking of her life. They didn't go overboard, and I figured that's why. All right, we got lots to go over, guys. Buckle up. All right, let's get into this. All right. Cute little pictures, y'all. Oh, now the fireworks are coming. All right, so you guys see the era of pageants. Please remember me. They didn't go crazy in that. There's the one that it's okay. And it gets even more. All right. And Bree, thank you for getting these pictures together. I appreciate you. All right. Some of them are overdone and some of them are just. All right. What do you guys think about that one? All right, I'm going to tell you a little more of the story instead of doing this. I probably should have put this together so it scrolls for me, but I didn't. All right, so let's keep going. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the next thing, truecrimecora.com. I posted up on my Patreon page, and there's images of JonBenet Ramsey and the crime scene. Okay, so let me just tell you, JonBenet was a 6-year-old American girl. Her life was taken in her home in Boulder, Colorado, 1996. Police did find the body in the basement of the family home 8 hours after she was reported missing. Now, she had been struck. So once you guys know, when we get into the autopsy, she was struck in the head and she was strangled. Okay, we know it's not solved. Colorado law enforcement agencies at the time suspected the parents. And as the brother got older, they started looking at him. The family was partially exonerated in 2003 when the DNA was taken from the victim's clothing, suggesting that they were not involved. Now, her parents, you guys, were completely cleared in July 2008. Now, in February 2009, the Boulder Police Department took the case back to the district attorney and reopened the investigation. Media coverage is going crazy, and now it's even crazier. It's back at it again, right? The parents are wealthy, they have unusual evidence, and then crazy stuff about the parents and different kinds of theories. So now you go back to October 25th, 2013, and previously sealed court documents were now released, showing that a Colorado grand jury voted in 1999 to indict the parents, you guys, John and Patricia Ramsey, for her murder. The indictment alleged child abuse resulting in death and accessory to a crime. However, when the district attorney Alex Hunter declined to sign the indictment, saying the evidence was insufficient. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know that a grand jury wanted to indict these people for her murder and he wouldn't sign off on it? Did anybody know that? All right, I'm going to pull this down because I'm going to play the 911 call for you. I think I got through the pictures. If I didn't, let me just get through them. That was the one I didn't like. And yeah, she was beautiful without all that stuff. All right. So let's get to that. Let's get out of this here. And let's get that 911 call. I think it's important for you guys to hear it. All right. Now, this is Patsy Ramsey calling 911. And then we're going to go over the handwriting, and we're going to go over the autopsy. All right. A child's a child. What does that say? I can't see all your things. Let's see what you say. They should not be made to look like an adult. I agree. But I won't argue with anybody that does do that with their children, because I'll trust that you know what level to keep your children at a bay, to keep the pictures down and whatnot. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. All right, let's listen to the 911 call, you guys. Invite parents back. No, yeah, they wanted to. I didn't know that they were going to indict the parents and somebody didn't sign off on it. It is a mind-blowing case. So let's get into this 911 call. This is a big part of what happened that day. All right. So that's what I was into right now. I was into the them wanting to indict them, and then the district attorney in 2013 saying, no, we're not going to do that. All right.
911 emergency. Police. What's going on? 515th Street. What's going on there, ma'am? We have a kidnapping. Hi, please. Explain to me what's going on, okay? There's a note left and our daughter's gone. A note was left and your daughter is gone? How old is your daughter? 6 years old. She's gone. 6 years old. How long ago was it? I don't know. I just found the note. And my daughter's. Does it say who took her? What? Does it say who took her? I don't know. There's a ransom note here. It's a ransom note? It says FBTC. Victory. Please. Okay, what's your name? Are you Patsy Ramsey? I'm the mother. Oh my God. Please. I'm sending an officer over, okay? Please. Do you know how long she's been gone? No, I don't. Please, we just got out. Is she right here? Oh my God, please. Okay, calm. I am, honey. Please. Take a deep breath. Please. Okay. Hurry. Patsy.
And I don't know if you saw that. It's been debated what happened after the 911 call. One former Boulder police detective, Steve Thomas, believes that after Patsy hung up the phone didn't really disconnect, you guys. And I want to tell you Michelle says, why would they call 911 and have friends come over? You know what that reminds me of is Alex Murdaugh, you guys. She does sound very upset. You're not being gullible. I'm not pointing the finger at anybody. I've always thought that the brother had something to do with it. However, when I look back and I realize the brother was 9, it's almost like he would have to be Michael Myers in order to do something as savage as I saw those. So those pictures, you guys, it's savage. It's savage is right. Compare with Jen Soto, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. That was weird that faction demanded a amount of ransom. We're gonna get into that next. You guys are gonna be, yeah, the John Ramsey's Christmas bonus. You guys are gonna say, what the heck turned out to be mom's writing in her handbook of the exact amount. Yeah, what check this out. We're gonna get there, y'all. We're gonna get there. The much different tone than Jen Soto, though, right? All right, let's keep going. Last few seconds, Patty thought she hung up the phone.
Patsy? Patsy?
Oh my God, girl. Okay, hold on. Let me pause this real quick. All right, did you hear that? Or let me go back. Hold on. Let me go back. What was reported have been heard in the tape was initially enhanced in 1997. Let me go back for a second. They're not talking. They're not saying what it's saying here. It says what was reported to have been heard when the tape was initially enhanced was a female voice saying, "Help me, Jesus, help me, Jesus." The male voice says, "We're not speaking to you." Child's voice says, "What did you find?" Did you hear that? Do you see that? All right. And then, so that's it. That's what they initially said it was. And then we're going to keep going. And thank you so much, Leanne, my girl. I love you, man. Towards Reese's art supplies. Thank you. I hope you guys all like Reese's art. I posted it for my members. Edith, my girl, thank you so much for the Guilty of Crime membership. Happy New Year to you guys. All right. This crazy, right? A note on this. We're gonna get to that. That is the biggest controversy here, right? I heard a more masculine voice than Patsy again. All right, let's listen to this. We might even listen to it one more time. The child said, "What did you find?" The male said, "We're not speaking to you." What made this significant was what the Ramseys told the police their son was in bed, asleep during the whole ordeal. The tape shows that was a lie. That's what made me. All right, let's go one more time. I'm going to go one more time. It's only 2 minutes.
Is the same as him now? I don't know.
All right, they said their son was sleeping.
911 emergency. Police. What's going on? 515th Street. What's going on there, ma'am? We have a kidnapping. Hurry, please. Explain to me what's going on, okay? There's a note left and our daughter's gone. A note was left and your daughter is gone? How old is your daughter? 6 years old. She's gone. 6 years old. How long ago was this? I don't know. I just found the note. And my daughter's. Does it say who took her? What? Does it say who took her? I don't know. There's a ransom note here. It's a ransom note? It says FBTC. Victory. Please. Okay, what's your name? Are you Patsy Ramsey? I'm the mother. Oh my God. Please. I'm sending an officer over, okay? Please. Do you know how long she's been gone? No, I don't. Please, we just got out and she right here. Oh my God, please. Okay, calm. Somebody. I am, honey. Please. Take a deep breath. Please. Okay. Hurry. Patsy.
Patsy hung up. Dang. Thank you, Casey. I think it is Burke. Absolutely. Who else was in the house? And we got you, Bestie.
Patsy.
All right, so it was enhanced, and they heard a female saying, "Help me, Jesus, help me." A male said, "We're not speaking to you," in a child's voice. What did you find? Burke was in the house. He was supposed to be sleeping, but they think that it's him. And remember, the parents got a grand jury was ready to indict them, but the DA didn't sign off. Ramsey's told that their son was in bed during the whole ordeal. The tape shows that was a lie. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you, Marcy, for the $4.99 super sticker. You guys are amazing. Man, happy New Year to you all. Okay, so we got so much more. We just got started, people. All right, let's get out of this. I'm going to stop sharing this. And I will check my email there. I know somebody wants me to check my email. I see you. And normally when you guys have me check my email, it's because you want to show me something. So I can do that as soon as I get to this. I kind of like this green screen. You guys can see things. Thank you, Marcy, so very much. And welcome, allegedly speculating. Look at this. You guys can actually see it this time. You can see my toys today. You can see my toys. Look at my toys. My toys. All right. And then you guys, this is my happy avocado. So that's for you, Marcy. All right. All right, hold on. What is this? What? They also invite their friends over. Wait, what happened? At least my power didn't go out or something, you guys. This is crazy. All right. I want to show you guys now. What's up? I am Two Bear. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm going to pull this up without showing you anything. I'm going to show you some things, but I can only show you so much. So I want you guys to take a look at this. This is the link that I posted on my Patreon. And that's what I said. That's what I said. Hold on. Why is this playing Grizzly? All right, that's what I said. If Burke did this, he is equivalent to like Michael Myers in the first movie where Michael Myers went into his sister's into the shower and took her life with a knife, because this is terrible the way that he took her life. I can't imagine a 9-year-old doing that. All right, why is this doing that? Okay, I'm going to just show you this real quick. I'm going to tell you that this link, True Crime Cora, my computer is just out of whack. I hope I don't need a new one, you guys. Pause, close. Grizzly True Crime wants to play right now, but I'm not letting her. Okay, so that's it right there. I've said that. It would be crazy. It would be absurd if they find out Burke did this. That guy would have to be evil when I show you what I show you. Other Mona, thank you for the $5 super sticker. Here's the love. You guys can see it now. You guys can see my little love, my little avocado guy. All right. Thank you. And I love all your comments. If Burke did this and got away with it, do you think it was his last assault? I doubt it. Absolutely not, Casey. Absolutely not. There's no possible way that he did what he did. When you guys see this, you're going to say, no way. He didn't stop. And Annette, thank you so much for gifting a Guilty of Crime membership. I hope that whoever gets the membership really wants it. All right, you guys, I wish I could show you this, but I can't. All right, so I'm going to just tell you graphic content. I went over this here. We went over the 911 call. I'm going to get into the ransom note and the handwriting sample. And this is the autopsy here. It's kind of the autopsy. I'm going to show you the real thing. Ligature strangulation, circumferential ligature with associated ligature furrow of the neck, abrasions, petechial hemorrhage in the neck, petechial hemorrhage, conjunctival, I can't say that, surfaces of the eyes and skin. You guys are bruises on her face, and trigger warning, scalp contusion, linear, comminuted fracture of the right skull, linear pattern of contusions on the right cerebral hemisphere, and then more hemorrhages, small contusion, tips of temporal lobe. Now you guys know that's in her head. Abrasion on the right cheek, abrasion, contusion, posterior right shoulder, abrasions, lower left and posterior lower left abrasion, vancular congestion of vaginal mucosa. All right. So they did do the vaginal area. They checked all that toxicological studies, ethanol, blood ethanol undetected. I cannot show you this. But if you keep scrolling down, you guys, you're going to see there is awful pictures on this site at Quora, and it's for the public. So if you guys really do want to check out her autopsy photos, you can. Thank you so much. Buy yourself a coffee, Leanne, for the $4.99. All right, you get another love here. I definitely will. I definitely will. And Princess Mish, thank you for becoming a member for 4 months. Hit the thumbs up. Happy New Year. Okay, I can't show you that, but if you guys want to follow along, you can go on to Patreon and you don't have to pay a thing. Go check this out and go follow me below. I'm going to take this down because I cannot show you. You guys don't want to see this. Trust me. Okay. Right, I guess I could, let me just do this real quick. 1 second. I'm going to give you just a quick screenshot. That's as far as I'm going to show you. Now take a look. This is what they found, you guys. Okay. Yeah, you can't look at, I get it, Emily Jane. That right there is the ligature that they used. I'm not going to show you any further down, but just so you, this is a trigger warning for you. You see that they made? What do they call that? A garrote? That's what was made. If that 9-year-old did that, you guys, he is evil. If Burke did that, do you see it has her hair caught in it, and it's like a bar, like they used to oh shit, no, I'm gonna pull this down. My bad. Hopefully you guys didn't see that. Okay, Casey Atkins, he's definitely a strange dude, but it'd be hard to do normal, all things considered, if he didn't have anything to do with it. But if this is to baby sister at 9, imagine how darker he would be at 40. Oh my God, you guys. Yes. Well, wait, you're going to see Casey. Thank you so much for the $20 super sticker. All that's going towards to finish my roof. I gave him $3,000 and I still owe him another $2,000, which I'll get. I hope she's on some kind of watch list. Oh my God, you guys, we're going to look at him hard. Yeah, I freaked out right now, didn't I, Carrie? I freaked out. And thank you, Bestie, Bestie77 for that, getting that. Appreciate you. Here's my happy guy. Oh my God, I almost showed you that. Sorry, I did not want to show you that at all. I think I ruined Bree's day today. Yeah, relationship advice, John. Whoever did that, you guys, is evil. They have to be evil. Okay, I'm gonna get to the next thing. I'm gonna show you the autopsy report, and then we're gonna explain it. All right. I'm going to show it to you because I also downloaded that into my folder. All right. Let me get into this. Actually, here it is. Boop. Screen. I feel like someone's calling me right now. Where is it? All right. I got the ransom note and I got the autopsy. All right. Where's it? Why is it not coming up? Oh, there it is. Okay, got you guys. All right, that freaked me out for a second. I had to pull that down completely because I was like, no. Carrie, you know I can't. All right, so you sent me a video on how it's public search. Okay. I'll pull that up after. That just freaked me out. Okay, so Michelle, you've seen the full autopsy, and it's really telling on how the Schrader of 9-year-old could be strong enough to do it. He could, you guys, but it's wait, I gotta stop voice messaging. It's messaging up. What does that mean? I didn't know the case. Yeah, it's very sick. You guys saw that, but I didn't show you guys that. I only showed you the garrote that they made. Oh, you guys are interested. That's who I thought it was, everybody. That's who I thought it was. Hey, Tiff Knox, good to see you. I haven't seen you in forever. She says, Goth, Bree, Happy New Year to everybody. ASB 4112, thank you so much for the $4.99 super sticker. And thank you. Yes, Carrie, I will get to that when I get to my email. When I'm playing the next video, I will get into that. Love you guys. Thank you so much. All right. I think once you guys see those images, you're going to be like, you're going to make your mind up about that. All right, so here's an autopsy. I'm going to show you that last because then I'm going to get to the video that explains it. All right, guys, here it is. Can you see it? There's a ransom note, everybody. If you see the ransom note, you haven't seen it like this. So look here, check it out. I'm going to compare that sample with the mom, and then we're going to go into the autopsy, and then I'm going to tell you what clues that we missed. Okay? Tell you what clues missed. And we are going to talk about the brother because I've always thought it was him. But I also watch horror movies, and I said there's no way that he could have done this. All right, you say Patsy wrote the note. Any of you think anything else, you're crazy. Garrots are ease of leveraging. Right, garrots are easy. So if you're a 9-year-old, you can do that with a garrot. But I.M.2Bear, if he did that, he is the most evil person that I've seen in a really long time. Now, I'm not debating on whether he could have done it or couldn't have done it. But when you see those photos, you guys, you're going to say, how could a 9-year-old boy do this? You're not going to think that I just can't. I can't. And my daughter's 10, and I can't imagine her doing something like that or even wanting to. It's awful. All right, here it is. So here's the note. It says, listen carefully, Mr. Ramsey. Mind you, this paper was the same paper used in the house that Patsy Ramsey used. It even had markings underneath it of the paper on top. Correct me if I'm wrong, you guys. So someone used that, and it had scratches in it from the paper that you used before. You know how when you write real hard, you can see it. So this says, listen carefully. We are a group of individuals, and you could tell they disguise their writing, right? It says we're a group of individuals. I'm disguising my writing that represent a small foreign faction. We do respect your business, but not the country that it serves. At this time, we have your daughter in our possession. Now, remember, she's in the house, you guys. She is safe and unharmed. And if you want to see her 1997, you must follow our instructions to the letter. You will withdraw $118,000 from your bank account. $100,000 will be in $100 bills, and the remaining $18,000 in $20 bills. Make sure that you bring an adequate size attache, I guess, to the bank. I guess it's attache. When you get home, you will put the money in a brown paper bag. I will call you in between 8 and 10 a.m. tomorrow to instruct you on the delivery. The delivery will be exhausting, so I advise you to be rested. If we monitor you getting the money early, we might call you early to arrange on earlier delivery of the money and hence an earlier pickup of your daughter. Any deviation of my instructions will result in the immediate execution of your daughter. You will also be denied her remains for the proper burial. The two gentlemen watching over your daughter do particularly like you, so I advise you not to provoke them. Speaking to anyone about your situation, such as police, FBI, etc., will result in your daughter being beheaded. If we catch you talking to a stray dog, she dies. If you alert the bank authorities, she dies. If the money is in any way marked or tampered with, she dies. You will be scanned for electronic devices, and if any found, she dies. You can try to deceive us, but be warned that we are familiar with law enforcement countermeasures and tactics. You will stand a 99% chance of killing your daughter if you try to outsmart us. Follow our instructions, and you stand 100% chance of getting her back. You and your family are under constant scrutiny, as well as the authorities. Don't try to grow a brain, John. You are not the only one out. You are not the only one out around. So don't think that killing will be difficult. Don't underestimate us, John. Use that good Southern common sense of yours. It's up to you now, John. Victory, SBTC. Bam. All right, you guys. What do you think of that? I hope there's still 262 people in here, and I hope you enjoyed the way I tried to read that, because many people nowadays can't read handwriting. That was a little bit rough, but I did it. All right. Okay, we're comparing it now. I love you, Leanne. We're comparing it right now. And the paper came from inside the house, you guys. It came from inside the house. All right. So I'm going to remind you that LA Film Scene said it was a whole family involved. Jay, Paying Patsy wrote this cover. Burke, check it out. Chumba, I'm not completely sure on my decision. Yeah, because you just started this. Oh, they called John a fat cat. Thank you, Glitter Certified. I appreciate you. Now, SPTC, I can't remember what they believed it to mean. We'll talk about that. All right. The note was not from Burke. Absolutely, that note was not from Burke. But listen up. If Burke took his sister's life and they found it, you're not the only fat cat. Thank you. The wording was so strange. It was strange, but listen up here. Listen, if Burke did this and his parents came downstairs and they saw what happened, okay? Let's say the parents said, oh man, my kid did this. I don't want him to go to jail. So then Patsy goes in and writes this letter, and then they call 911. Now, the body wasn't found right away, and they invited people over like Alex Murdaugh did. All right. And we will be having a drink for New Year's via membership. Yes. Yes. We need a drink after this. Okay. So hear me out. Burke did it. Daddy and mommy covered up. They called 911. They told him to go to bed. They didn't want the police to think he was awake. Then they called people to contaminate the crime scene. 8 hours later, her body was suspiciously found by Dad. Okay. Mom writes the note. Dad covers it up by inviting people over and finding the body. All right. Yeah. Wiley, that doesn't make any sense, but because it doesn't make any sense, let's tie this together. Okay. Now I'm giving you a scenario in my head that I think it could be. They call the cops and the cops show up in force. I'm not sure about that, but listen, the dad went right to the body. The brother was supposed to be asleep. The dad went to the body. The mom seems to have written this note. It was on her notepad paper. That's proven because that was the paper in the house. All right. Burke was very jealous of JonBenet, in my opinion. That's a good possibility as well. The wording is not the sons. The wording is not the sons, Emily Jane. The wording is the moms. Now imagine this. You would do anything for your children. You have 2 children you do anything for. You go downstairs and your 9-year-old son took your 6-year-old daughter's life. You don't want to lose both children. Remember, John and Patsy Ramsey, by a grand jury, were indicted and they were supposed to stand trial, but the DA said no. All right? They were that close, you guys. That's how much evidence that there was. Yeah, the absolutely, the criminal's not going to go into Patsy's side of the bed and do that. Thank you. And you see what I'm saying? Emily Jane? You have 2 kids. One takes the other's life. Daddy covers up by finding the body later. Mommy covers up by writing the note and tells the brother to go to sleep. We're going to call the cops. But when we call the cops, you're in bed. You didn't do anything. You were never awake. Now let's call family members to come and mess up the crime scene. And then we'll make sure we don't find her body for 8 more hours. Okay? So keep that in mind, what I'm saying. I'm glad it all makes sense now. I hope this is my take on this. All right. So we're going to keep going. I want you to take a look at this. It's very sinister, but it's something that could be. I'm showing you the evidence. Yeah, Burke could have passed the lie detector, but lie detectors don't mean a thing. If Burke was that crazy to do this, and there was that much rage, lie detectors don't mean a thing. They're not even in court. I'm just putting my 2 cents in as we build this case. Nobody found the body. It wasn't until search and second time. Another weird fact was this. Yes, exactly. And then when they did, the dad found it. So I'm throwing out. They called all their friends and neighbors to come to the house, just like Murdaugh did to contaminate the scene. They're not admissible in court. It wouldn't mean a thing. All right. R.L. Frost says, here's mine. John had almost 1,000 employees. Someone whom had to. That's what they wanted them to think. All right. So we're going to get into Burke more later on, but we're not into that yet. I just gave you the theory that I just literally worked out in my head as I'm going through the documents, but I'm going to show you this first. All right. So they compared it to Patsy Ramsey. All right. What do you guys think? You go back to this note. All right. Look at of yours. Look at of yours. And then let's see if we can find a of yours. Of and yours. All right. Let's look at this. Of and yours. Now look at this. Let's look at of and yours again. Now remember, it's many times they get lazy. In the very beginning, they're doing it either with a different hand or they're doing this, okay? So at the very beginning, they're doing good, they're distracting, they're making, and by the end of the letter, they get lazy. Look at this writing, you guys. So I'm just taking two things, of and your. Of and your. Most people use familiar, of, your, and are. Now let's take a look at this, okay? Look at the way the A's are written. We are a group. I should have circled these. Look at this A, you guys. Are under constant scrutiny. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Look at the A. We are a. Look at the way they did the A and how they did your and of and use and F. They got lazy towards the end, you guys. They got lazy towards the end. If we can put it over the top. Now, this is Miss Ramsey. Listen carefully. We're a group of individuals. They had her write this again. Then they had her do this. Miss Ramsey, and they did instruction. They made her do it over and over. You guys see that? Individual words she wrote for police. They did where she filled out all the paperwork. They did samples of the alphabet. Our business is good. Her London letter. Look at this. 2 gentlemen I wrote. I mean, what do you guys make of that? I mean, really. Hold on. Let's see if I can get back to this. Oh, where'd it go? Did I lose you guys? Okay, there it is. All right. So anyway, we're gonna keep going. We can speculate all day. I'm gonna get into the autopsy, and then I'm gonna play it the autopsy. I'm gonna show you some clues that were missed. I don't believe or trust John's older son. He had some weird stuff in that suitcase. Yeah, trigger warning, guys. We're gonna go to the autopsy, and then I'm gonna explain it to you. I believe she physically wrote it, but I believe the dad is the one who worded the letter. Men like John Ramsey can be controlled by more powerful people to cooperate with power brokers' agenda. But I believe that hilarious too. But why would you tell your son go to sleep and then pretend that he wasn't there at the crime scene? And why would you do all those other questionable things? Bring people into the crime scene, wait for 8 hours, have the dad find her then? And how did they get so close to indicting at them? All right. They should compare handwriting to the Ransom note. They did. I'm going to put all that stuff up. And again, thank you, MM Clark. Thank you. I appreciate that if I didn't thank you already. And thank you, Emily Joan, if I didn't thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Again, it hasn't been solved, so we're all in theory mode right now. I will put those up. If I didn't already put those, I'll put those up under I will put those up on the Patreon for you. All right, so it's all there. Like I right off the bat, I see that in my opinion, Patsy wrote this. Why did she write this? I don't know. Did someone say we're gonna kill you if you don't write this letter and throw them off? Maybe. All right. Well, now we're gonna get into the autopsy. This is the original autopsy back in where's the date here? 96. Death date 12/26/96, and that's the only reason they say it's that date is because that's the day they found her. But I think it was Christmas that she went missing, so technically she was already dead that day, you guys. All right. Thank you, Ava. I appreciate you. I love you guys. I've got to go have a Coke. Awful handwriting. To throw the whole case off. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm like, what the heck? All right, so I see people sent me some stuff. Shannon sent me, I don't see the palm. Ooh, girl. I don't see the palm of the hand. I see letters. Could the medical examiner have been wrong? Don't forget, JonBenet has an older half brother who was living in the home at the time. I had lived in culture. All right, I see you. I see that. Candy Rose crime scene Christmas. Okay, so you're sending me. Oh, we're talking about the older brother now. Okay, so I got an email talking about the older brother, John and Patsy Ramsey Christmas letter. I'm gonna have to dig through this, girl. I want to make sure there's nothing that's gonna like hurt my channel, because this is we've got some other photos here and that I got sent, and they're really good. They do have an older brother, you guys. There's an older brother, and we need to find out if they're looking into that. And Carrie, I did not get an email from you. I did not get another email from you, Carrie. That video you said you sent me, it's not there. It's not there. All right, this may be another photo of the person wearing the belt. I thought you may want to see. Oh, no. Oh, thank you. It might be Dawn Robin. Dawn Robin, if you're here, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And I can't do anything with my email right now, you guys, because I don't want to get in trouble for showing stuff, okay? But Happy New Year. I'm gonna do another episode tomorrow, and then even more. Okay, Tiff Knox says the older brother was out of town. You guys, there are some graphic photos. The ones you sent me are nothing compared to trigger warning as we get into the autopsy. This is so cute. Thank you, Bestie77. Happy 2025 to everybody. I agree. Thank you, guys. You guys are rock stars, man. I don't have my phone, girlfriend. I don't have my phone, Carrie. My daughter took it. I don't have a phone, you guys, so you can't text me. Okay, we're gonna do the autopsy, you guys. I want to show you this real quick. I don't want you to leave. There's 239 people in here, and the big thing about today is the clues that we missed with the autopsy. So I want to get this. Please don't leave. Please, I have to get to this. It's the most important part, in my opinion, of today's episode. Most important part, and then I'll have to go over my whole dang. I might have to do a tester after, you guys, and go on a live to see if I can get what do you call that? My background to work. Okay, real quick. I'm gonna go through this real quick, and then I'm gonna go with it with a video. All right, here it goes. Let me scroll through. Okay, so here it is, autopsy, blah, blah, blah. You see the dates. You see the JonBenet Ramsey, 6 years old, female, pathologist Meyer, ligature. We went over that. Strangulation, abrasions. We went over all these things. Small contusions, toxicological studies, blood ethanol, none detected. Drugs, none detected. Cause of death, 6-year-old female, asphyxia by strangulation associated with a craniocerebral trauma. Okay, trauma to the head and strangulation. And when you guys see those pictures, you'll know what I was talking about. Okay, so here's the autopsy notes. The body of the 6-year-old, they highlighted things. She was lying on her back with her arms extended up over her head, you guys. Okay, that they still had the garrote on her when they found her. Abrasions were present on her left lower neck. She had a tie. Tight as I've ever seen it. I've never seen something like that before. It was still around her neck. She had a white overlying sleeve of a shirt with a white cord at the knot. There was a tail end which measures 5.5 inches with a frayed end. The other tail knot measures 15.5. The end of the cord was also frayed. All right, she had the long underwear are urine stained anteriorly over the crotch area and legs. So a lot of times when someone gets strangled, they defecate on themselves. No defecates are identified. Defects, I'm sorry. No defects were identified. Beneath the long underwear are white panties printed with rosebuds and words Wednesday. Oh, that's my daughter has stuff like that. When she was little, you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, little cute underwear. Dang, rest in peace, JonBenet Ramsey. The underwear were also urine stained, and the inner aspect of the crotch, several red areas of staining, measuring 0.5 inch maximum. Again, trigger warning, you guys. There's blood, there's urine, and it's all in the crotch area, okay? So please, trigger warning. In the autopsy, pay attention to the impact area. Only tablespoon and a half of the blood impact pumping at the time of impact. We're going to get to that right now. There was never a determination that the stun gun was used. I love you guys right now. I love you. I'll pull up Chucky real quick. There you go. There's the trigger warning, you guys. I'm doing my best here. There's a lot to this case is huge, so I'm trying my best, and I appreciate Carrie, I love you. Thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. Please do email me so I can show that. Happy New Year. In the new year, Carrie, you and I are going to work on so many more cases because Carrie's like in my head. I could say, Carrie, can you go get this for me, or can you help me look this up? And she comes back like she's been doing it for years. And you probably have been doing it for years. So, Carrie, Happy New Year. And if you want to, I'd love for you to help me with some of my new cases, because the way you deep dive is the way I think too. All right, Chucky's needed. All right, yes, Chucky's needed. If I could put Chucky on my shoulder, I would, and I probably can. So trigger warning. All right, so I'm glossing over this, but I'm also gonna get into a video so I can show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so stained underwears, you guys. This is the external exam. This is nothing internal. All right, external evidence located just below the right ear. Oh, this was hard for me, you guys. I saw this. There was the ear at the right. There was the canal, and then 1.5 inches below the canal below the auditory canal, there was a rust colored abrasion. I thought it was a hole in her jaw, you guys. It was so dark it looked like a hole. The aspect of the left lower eyelid on the inner conjunctival surface is 1 millimeter in max dimension to petechial hemorrhage. Very fine, less than 1 millimeter petechial hemorrhages are presented on the skin of the upper eyelids because she was strangled, you guys, as well as much smaller ones, less than 1 millimeter, located on the conjunctival surface. Possible petechial hemorrhages are also seen on the conjunctival surfaces of the right and upper lower eyelids, but livor mortis on the side of the face makes definite identification difficult. Wrapped around her neck, you guys, was a double knot in the midline of the posterior neck in a length of a white cord, similar to the one described as being tied around the right wrist. All right, so they highlighted some things here. A single black ink mark is placed at the left side, the cut, and double black ink mark the right side of the cut. Remember, they're doing an autopsy here. All right, so trigger warning. I'm sitting here holding freaking Chucky. All right, so they're talking about the cut lines, multiple loops around the length of the round tan wooden stick, which measured 4.5 inches in length. The wooden sticks, what I showed you earlier, are regularly broken at the bottom ends in several colors of paint and apparent glistening varnish of the circus. Printed in gold letters on one end of the wooden stick is the word Korea. The tail end of another word extends from beneath, and then they talk about it being the stick is not able to be interpreted. Blonde hair. I showed you that her blonde hair was intertwined in the knot of the wooden stick. The white cord is flattened and measured to 1/4 inch thick in width. They also appear to be made of white synthetic material. Also secured around the neck is a gold chain with a single charm in the form of a cross. All right, you go trigger warning, a deep ligature furrow encircles the entire stick. So some of the things I'm going to get into right now, but I'm not going to read this whole thing. Hemorrhaging abrasions encompassing an area 3 by 2 inches. There's some pretty big ones, you guys. Pretty big ones. Slight upward deviation from the horizontal towards the back of the neck. The area of abrasion, the petechial hemorrhage, the skin of the anterior neck includes on lower left neck, just the left of the midline, roughly triangular, parchment-like rust-colored abrasion, which measures 1.5 inches in length. All right. And as you continue going, we're talking about bruises and hemorrhaging and the skin color. Right. There's a lot of that in here. Then they go onto the lower back, and they did a full one. So I want you guys to go look at this. It's on my Patreon. You guys can download this if you want. All right. So there's some scratch-like abrasions. They're going all over her in this. Now, this one, it says on the interior of the perineum along the edge of the closure of the labia majora. We know what that is, right? There's a similar small amount dried and semifluid blood is present on the skin and in the vestibule, inside the vestibule of the vagina and along the distal vaginal wall is reddish hypermia. Oh, this one's rough, you guys. So they're talking about the vaginal area and what is in there around it, the tissue. All right. Ugh, I hate this. All right. Then she had fixed in 2 ponytails. So the scalp is covered by long blonde hair. It was in 2 ponytails on the top head, secured by cloth, hair tie, and blue elastic band. One's the lower band, head secured by blue elastic band. No scalp trauma. The eyes are green and the pupils equally dilated. All right. On the middle finger, the right finger hand is a bracelet with the name JonBenet on the side, date 12/25/96. On the other side, there was a red ink line drawn in the form of a heart. You guys, I have this picture she just sent to me. There's a heart located on the palm of the left hand. There was a line drawing, and inside her palm, her little baby palm, there was a heart. Oh God. All right, let me check in with you guys because this is rough, you guys, and I appreciate you guys for being here. This is probably the roughest part of this. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything from anybody. You guys are still here. We have 243 people here. This is very rough. All right. She can go no longer. Be hurt, Jay. It's okay. Yeah, it's rough, you guys. I'm gonna keep going, but I have to do the autopsy clues that we missed. So as we look at this, there's clues, and because we're looking at this and we're reading we're reading things that are rough, we miss things. All right. Someone redded her hair after the crime to hide what happened. Oh, they redid her hair. Yes, they redid her hair. And thank you for not leaving. Hit the like button. If you like how I present true crime, you might not like what I'm presenting. And I know it's rough, especially for me. I have a 10-year-old daughter that I love so very much. She's my entire world, you guys. Everything I do for my daughter. So, all right. In my opinion, no footprints in the snow immediately proves it was done in the house. Oh, I believe it, absolutely it was an inside job, in my opinion. All right. And happy new year, everybody. Now let's get into what happened and what we missed. Her doctor had many visits. Doctor visits more normal. Autopsy made it sound like it was a long going abuse. All right, you guys, you ready for this now? Look at the picture again. Not a heart. It looks like letters. Interesting. All right. Is that you, Shannon? Let me take a look at this. Oh, yeah. CR. What does that mean? All right. I'm going to give you guys a quick trigger warning. Thank you so much, Ashley. This is tough. Thank you for the $9.99. Love you. Love you. Love you. Here's my love toy. There it is there. Yeah, I'm an anti-Patsy, right? Yeah, definitely. And why leave a note if she's already, because they're trying to throw off the case. Again, thank you, Ashley. That's what they're doing, is throwing the case off. Yes, I am. Carrie says, I never said it was a heart. It read a heart, Carrie. I said baby hands, Jay, and I said the baby had hands. Like, no, girl. I'm reading that. I'm reading the autopsy and it says a heart. I'm looking at it and it says a heart, girlfriend. Now I'm looking at the picture that this lady sent me, and it is it's freaking it's almost like it's somebody's initials, you guys. It says CR. Hold on. It says that it's a heart in the autopsy, but what does CR stand for? All right, let me finish getting through this and I'll show you real quick. Just you guys can tell me what you think. And then, warning for sensitive viewers, we're going to do the ace of spades in the autopsy report. Thanks to True Crime Rocket Science. Again, trigger warning throughout the whole thing, okay? So let's just finish going here. You guys can read this yourself. It says here, Carrie, a red ink line drawing in the form of a heart is located on the palm of the hand. That's not me saying you said it. I'm saying I said it right here in the autopsy. The people that did the autopsy are saying that it was a heart. It is not a heart, you guys. All right. So look at this, guys. They're doing an internal exam. Chest muscular, no sternal rib fractures. They're doing the body cavities, you guys. They're doing the lungs. They're doing the heart. Yeah. So there's a lot of things here, and everything's pretty normal here. The bladder is contracted and contains no urine, you guys. All right. They highlighted some things here. Green to tan colored stomach contains a small amount of green to tan colored thick mucus material. And then it just goes into small intestine, contains fragmented pieces of yellow or light green, vegetable or fruit material, whatever she ate that day, probably that tells that. And then they go into the skull and the brain, right temporal lobe, very minimal contusions, purple contusion in one side, but really it wasn't much damage there. It was the neck, the section of the neck, and performed after removal of the, and I can't read any of this stuff. It's just talking about what they dissected and how much each thing weighs, etc. All right, so it's all normal. But this one does say that vaginal area, the smallest piece of tissue from the 7 position of the vaginal wall hymen, contains an epithelial erosion with underlying capillary congestion. A small number of red blood cells is presented on the eroded surface as bifringent foreign material. Acute inflammatory infiltrate is not seen. Evidence. Items turned over to the Boulder Police Department as evidence include fibers and hair from the clothing and body surfaces, ligatures, clothing, vaginal swabs and smears, rectal swabs and smears, oral swabs and smears, paper bags from hands, fingernail clippings, jewelry, paper bags from feet, white body bag samples of head hair, eyelashes, and eyebrows, swabs from the right and left thighs and right cheek, red top and purple top, tubes of blood. All right, I'm done with that. All right, I'm going to stop sharing this and pull it down. I'm going to show you real quick. Again, trigger warning, guys. This is not a heart. It looks like, do you think they're acting like this because they lost John's older daughter and then the JonBenet they not want? I don't know. I'm thinking of that as I go. All right, trigger warning real quick, you guys. This was not a heart, and I'm going to show you real quick that this was not a heart. It's her hand, and it looks like somebody wrote or scratched in CR. What does CR stand for? Can you guys tell me? Because I really, truly, honestly don't know. I'm thinking something that has to do with Ramsey, you guys. All right, trigger warning there. So there's the little hand. It's a hand, guys. It's a hand. All right. It's JonBenet's hand when they're doing the autopsy, and they said a heart. Look at it. It says CR scratched into it. Okay. Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate you. You see that? Tell me what that says. Is that a heart? Manta, hello, happy new year. Hit the like button on your way in, subscribe if you haven't, and get your membership if you can. I'll give some memberships here in a bit as soon as I show the video. All right, you never knew about the CR. Look at that. That is her hand. They said it was a heart, and that is not a heart. That looks like a C or a GR. It's either a G or a C. What does that stand for? Is that for Ramsey? Who starts with C? All right. There's a couple other pictures that were shown. There it is again. It looks like a scratch. They said it's pen, you guys. But look at that. I'm zooming in as much as I can. All right. That is on the hand. That is from the autopsy. What if those aren't a CR and it's a face? I don't know. I'm asking you guys to tell me. They wrote heart on that, and I'm going to get into that. CR, GR. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. All right. We already went over that, so I'm not going to go back, but you guys can go back if you want. Maggie Gomez says, I'm here with my favorite program. Thank you. And again, trigger warning. I'm not going to go as far now. Yeah, what's the older brother's name, you guys? All right. These pictures are in Patreon, but there's much more graphic pictures and they're for free. So don't think that I'm putting pictures on Patreon and charging. They're not mine to charge. They're free on the internet. Go to my Patreon and you can find those and really, really bad autopsy photos that are found right on the internet. Okay. Burke. You say Burke. All right, guys, I'm going to get to we're going to break things down now. So you guys tell me what you see. That's the photo of the family. Thank you for sending that. There's JonBenet. There's, that is Burke. She was 6. He was 9. That's the older brother. There's Patsy. There's the dad, John, whatever his name is. I think it's John. And then whoever that is. Somebody sent me this. All right. To show that there's an older brother. Okay, there it is again. There's little JonBenet. There's Burke. There's the older brother. And is that the older brother's girlfriend or something? All right. And good night. If you guys are heading out, don't forget to hit the like button if you could. And I hate seeing her baby hand too. I took it off the screen. I've given you guys a trigger warning. All right. All right. Let's keep going. Now we're going to get to the untold clues of the autopsy and what we think. I've given you my theory. I think I've spilled out my whole I've given my whole heart to this. All right, sister who died, I don't know, but we're going to get into this now. We're going to talk about the autopsy. Trigger warning for sensitive view.
Well, when they got her to the autopsy table and opened up her brain, they realized she'd been hit over the head.
And then Netflix shows a very graphic image of JonBenet's skull with a massive 8-inch crack running along the top of it. A small section about the size of a man's thumb is caved in. We aren't showing the image Netflix shows halfway through episode 1, but suffice it to say, this was a massive blow. Then Netflix pontificates about whether the injury was made by a Maglite flashlight or a baseball bat. Curiously, Netflix doesn't show another candidate for this bludgeoning instrument, a set of golf clubs that belonged to John that was right out.
Now, pay attention. I'm going to make the, I think if you guys can see this, or unless I have to make it bigger, this just came out like a week ago. All of this new information that I'm processing for you guys is not something that you're going to go back and see anywhere else except from True Crime Rocket Science, because this is all information that's coming out and theories that we're coming out with. We're talking about the Netflix. We're talking about the documentary on Netflix, so that if you can watch it, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You're gonna get it all right here, okay, and much more. All right, let's go.
Outside the wine cellar in the basement. Also, a urine stain was found on the carpet very close to those golf clubs. And yet there was something incredibly bizarre about this catastrophic injury. Whatever caused it, whatever the instrument was, for all the internal violence to JonBenet's skull and brain, her scalp, the skin surrounding this tissue was unbroken. This is made explicit in the autopsy report through 5 simple words. No scalp trauma identified. There was no external sign whatsoever on her head, in her hair, of the injury underneath. Meanwhile, as is so typical of the Ramsey case, just below the surface, wild hurricanes of damage were whirling and reaping.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear. Thoughts build up until I can't feel. My mind fills up.
Let's go a little forward.
Well, before we get to that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Look out for the next analysis, where we'll be looking at the one article I've found that basically criticizes the Netflix docuseries. Out of all the media, I've just found one article, and there's a pretty good article as well. Through the course of this episode, I'll be revealing not one card, but 2. So make sure you have your notebooks at the ready. Do you still know what the first card was? The Ace of Hearts. And then if you're finding this analysis worthwhile, please hit the thanks button and let's get started. So the question is, how do we explain not only this massive injury, which cracked bone, yet it didn't manage to break the skin? How's that possible? Well, do you want me to answer the question?
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question.
Yep.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
And that brings us to the Ace of Clubs. The answer is, in my opinion, quite simple, and it has to do with physical properties of energy distribution, elasticity of certain materials, and the deformation of certain materials. And by addressing this question, we also end up stumbling, as I say, onto the Ace of Clubs, which is the bludgeoning instrument. We'll get to that in a moment, but we also need to address several other enigmas in the autopsy. What happened first, asphyxia or the blow? What was the time between each? And then finally, the ace of spades, who is the perpetrator? And then what does all of this tell us about the identity of JonBenet's killer?
This is awesome right here. So we went over this, and while we went over the autopsy before, or while we were going over it, we're not really thinking of all the things and what happened. We're just so fixated on the words that I'm using and the trauma and the trigger warnings, right? That we're not looking at it in a clinical way. I'm not anyway, because I'm like, oh, I don't want to read this. I don't know what his thing is about playing cards, but he nails some things. Chucky Ramsey. It's Chucky. Trigger warning, guys. All right, let's keep going. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you. Happy New Year if you're already in the new year, you guys.
We're going to go through 4 insights on the autopsy, and let's start at number 1, which is the bludgeoning instrument. Without going into too much detail, a combination of the surface area and surface shape, as well as the relative inelastic properties of the Maglite flashlight and the golf clubs, that, in my opinion, rules both of these items out without our even needing to examine or test them for fingerprints, for fibers, for DNA, or anything else. And that leaves us with the softball bat, what Netflix incorrectly, as far as I know, refers to as a baseball bat. Netflix also incorrectly states that no evidence was found on the bat outside.
But there's no physical evidence on the flashlight or on the bat.
Well, except it seems there was. Smith said that an aluminium baseball bat with carpet fibers from inside the Ramsey house was found outside a broken basement window. And Wickman is a tad disingenuous here, in my opinion, to call it the Ramsey's bat, because it didn't belong to John. And on Dr. Phil in 2016, Burke admitted it was his.
They show you either of those items?
They showed me a picture of the baseball bat, like on the side of the house or something.
Yeah.
That was my baseball bat. I would normally like leave it out on the patio.
So an intruder could have picked that up on.
Well, okay, so the intruder picked up the bat, took it inside, used it, and then carried it outside and put it back where Burke left it. So the smooth, round surface and the relatively soft, deformative properties of aluminum make it, in my opinion, a strong candidate for the bludgeoning weapon. Further, a window directly above the bat was Burke's bedroom, which is the first floor bedroom with 3 narrow vertical windows above the front door facing the street. Personally, I think this bat was thrown out the window shortly after the child's scream, and that's what made the metal clanking on concrete sound heard by Luther Stanton, the neighbor diagonally across from the Ramseys. Now, there are actually a number of bats outside in the garden, which does kind of complicate this whole thing. I'm trying to keep it simple by just referring to one in this instance. Number 2, first strangled, then struck.
All right, so what this is leading to is who might have done it. And I want you to know in further episodes, we're going to do another one tomorrow. So in further episodes, we're definitely looking at, and I see you guys keep talking about the brother. We're going to look at that, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about it. We're going to look at it a lot closer. It's something that I've definitely looked at, and I want to know more about it. I want to know more about the brother, and we will definitely get into that. Right now, I think we need to lay the foundation of where we are now.
I don't know what ultimately killed her, whether or not it was the strangulation or the blow to the head. The evidence from both is there.
She's right. The evidence from both is there. And although Woodward isn't sure which came first, the asphyxia or the head blow, based on some of the research I've read, the blow to the head would not have been fatal, according to some, if JonBenet had received immediate medical attention. As bad as that looks, it would not necessarily have been fatal. The ligature, of course, is far, far more serious and was ultimately unsurvivable. The question, though, is which came first?
Let me tell you what I believe.
I don't know why he shows that in there.
It had just been cut off on all sides at the throat. And where does the brain receive?
So he doesn't even show that, you guys. You saw it earlier. If you didn't see it or you don't want to see it, that's cool. But I thought taking a look at it, you would see it literally was not that thick. It was pretty small. We went over that. It was a small piece of wood with a piece of material that really wasn't something that you would even think of as a normal person that would be able to take someone's life. But I guess when you're twisting and twisting and twisting, it does. And it was left that way on her. The pictures do show that. Wyatt, my man, I'm always on at 4:00, my dude. 4:00 Monday through Friday. Anyway, good to see
Blood
you.
from below the head, where the pump, the heart, is located. And that sort of location was shut off by the ligature. The other aspect to consider are the petechial hemorrhages, tiny ruptures which occur in small blood vessels called capillaries. Petechial hemorrhages are a classic symptom of asphyxia. Many of us know this in true crime. And that tells us JonBenet was alive and conscious when asphyxiated. I must say, our heart certainly goes out to her in that respect, because that couldn't have been pleasant. The blow that would have struck her unconscious would, in my opinion, likely have been made after the ligature was applied and allowed enough opportunity for the petechia to form in the first place. Another way of saying this is that JonBenet had to have been breathing in order for these hemorrhages to be possible.
Is it really so hard to believe?
Number 3, the answer is time.
And he said, but what you need to know, if anyone's speculating about it, is that you cannot even say 5 seconds separated them. They happened as close to simultaneous as possible.
Now, although I agree with that, this is not what people have thought through the course of this case. There were times when they thought that there was an hour separating the head blow between the ligature strangulation. I think Detective Steve Thomas thought that the ligature strangulation was actually just staged, that it was done post-mortem, which I think shows a lack of ability to read autopsy evidence. But I do think this is one of the most vital.
That is a very interesting thing when you say about Boy Scouts in the garage. That's not something that most people would think to do. Now, 4:00 over here is always going to be 7 p.m. your time. So almost every day I'm on at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern, right? Yeah, bruises happen while a person's alive. There you go. That's exactly what this dude's trying to say. And that exact same autopsy report with those notes that you're seeing in this video is on my Patreon. Okay. So everything we're talking here, if you want to go back and be a detective like Carrie likes to be, and like we like to do here over at Guilty of Crime, you can go take a look at that. Look at the video again and follow it along, because all those markings are there. They're the things that are the most important in this case. Yes, 6 p.m. Texas time. You got it, bud. You got it. Yes, it was a broken paintbrush. When we talked about it, there was gold writing on it. They said gold lettering on the paintbrush. All right. Never would have thought. But when you look at a little girl like that, I guess that can happen.
Insights into the absolute epicenter of this case. And so many people have gotten it wrong. And so many people struggle to understand it, because it's the very moment the crime was executed that we need to understand. And it's not easy. In my view, a near simultaneous, very forceful blow, as well as a ligature strangulation, implies not one perpetrator, but two. Think about what you're talking about here. A near simultaneous, forceful blow. It's not like a slight blow to the head. It's a very forceful blow, as well as a vigorous ligature strangulation. Doesn't it imply that there are two people exerting two different weapons on this little girl almost at the same time? One is armed, if that's the word, with the paintbrush and noose. The other is unarmed, but then leaps up to arm himself with a nearby bat. And in a panic, he smashes it down. And this is done not to kill JonBenet, but to silence her. And that brings us to the ace of spades. In this scenario, we also have some indirect confirmation. The fact that the blow to the head is from above means she could not have been lying down with her back and, of course, the top of her head facing the floor. This is likely the position she was initially in, and then she felt a sharp pain, screamed out, and then turned on towards her stomach to crawl away when she was struck. And that is how her hands ended up above her head, and also why her...
Yeah, that's how they found her on her back with her hands above her head, still with the garrote on really tightly, you guys. Again, trigger warning if you guys do have the stomach or you're the kind of people that want to look into the entire case. Thank you, Chumba. I appreciate that. And Happy New Year to you. Yeah, this case I didn't realize how graphic it was until I started getting back into it. And Star Z, I always thought that, but then I started looking at it and I'm like, 9 years old. How could he do that? Something tells me that it was an inside job, though. And when I listen to the 911 calls and I hear that they lied to the officers and said the brother was sleeping, but yet you hear him in the background, and then the mom writing the note when it came from her notepad and the writing was hers, and the dad mucked up the scene and brought her upstairs, and it was 8 hours later. Come on. And the grand jury was ready to indict them. Just one person didn't sign off on it. So what is going on here? I mean, it's this close to being solved. Maybe they're testing some items with DNA, you guys.
Head was turned to one side when she was found. Then the ligature could have been tightened on purpose. It could have been tightened by mistake, or it could have been tightened in a combination of these during a frantic episode in a dimly lit room late at night. JonBenet might have trampled on the paintbrush with her knee, and another part of the cord may have caught on a foot or a chair leg or the edge of a wall-mounted heater. And this, of course...
Now, I'm not forgetting about the RL. I'm probably forgetting about a whole bunch of other stuff. If I'm forgetting about the DNA under her nails that belong to an unknown male, but I'm not forgetting about that because my daughter is out all the time playing with other children, out there doing things. They mess around. She comes home, Mom, my arm got scratched. We were playing rough or whatever. I'm like, baby, what are those scratches from? Oh, Tommy did that to whatever. So I'm not forgetting about the DNA under her nails, but DNA under a kid's fingernails, it could just be their playmate. It could have been. There's a lot of things that it could have been. And so I'm not forgetting that. It's just not standing out to me particularly. And I'm sure there are things I'm forgetting because that was quite an autopsy report. Did you see that? I'm sure I'm forgetting things, but it's just my theory. So RL, whatever your theory is, let us know. I respect that. Yeah, there was DNA in the panties too, though. Exactly. So that would tie closer to this case than the fingernails, in my opinion, just because I know how kids are and they're just always dirty and they're playing with each other. And I don't know what she was doing before that. I have no idea. None whatsoever. But tell us your theory. There was also DNA from we saw that. We just read that, RL. We just read that. So DNA from male. And those are the things that are going to be tested now that DNA is much more testable. Back then it was like, is this DNA male or female? That's about it.
Is contingent on where in the house the incident occurred and what was the sort of furniture, what was the detritus on the floor in different parts of the home. If you imagine that the child has the paintbrush wedged under her knee and she's trying to move forward or she's trying to stand up, well, any movement would have inexorably tightened this noose, snaring it into her hair and gold chain as she strained to stand up. And
we just read about that. And Goldilocks, I love you. I am doing this case with the help of Deception Detective. I got some things planned for you guys tomorrow about this case, and you'll know which one when you come tomorrow. Absolutely, we're doing analysis on the Ramseys, and not just the Ramseys, but Burke is in there too, you guys. I don't know what happened to this little girl. I know that I wish there were justice for her, and I hope that some justice is found. I know the dad would like that. We don't know. He's still alive. Burke is. So, right, that's what we're leading to. I don't have any answers for you. These are just my theories of what I'm going through right now. So it could change. It could change in a couple months, depending on what comes out.
Escape. And of course, this is a one-way knot.
Which brings us at last to the moment of truth.
And so here is another card, the Ace of Spades. Number 4, 2 perpetrators, but which 2? The bat and the location of the bat both indicate, in my view, a different candidate from an imputed perpetrator wielding the flashlight or an imputed perpetrator wielding a golf club. It also, for that matter, implies a different area of the house, not the kitchen in the case of the flashlight, nor the basement in the case of the golf clubs. And this is just my feeling, this is just my view, this is just my belief. I think the housekeeper would know the answer to this one way or another. I just have a hard time thinking softball bats were kept in the basement, but I suppose it's possible. I think the housekeeper could otherwise tell us where the softball bats were normally kept in the house. Has that question ever been asked? I know we've been told that the bats were all left outside, but is that absolutely true? We can also draw potentially this inference, that one perpetrator stood over JonBenet, who was in a crawling position. The other was likely on the floor, closer to her head and shoulders. And so I think if you take the autopsy evidence together, and it obviously includes this heart that the coroner said he saw in her hand, and you take the evidence of the autopsy as well, these two serious injuries, which is really overkill if it's one perpetrator. If it's two, well, then it might be a little bit different. If you put them together, does the theory hold? Well, what do you think? Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.
Exactly. All right, you're right. You nailed that, you nailed that. I'm sorry, I was reading Clark's. We don't know what happened, but we do know another innocent child is gone. She has been gone for a long time. Patsy is buried by her daughter. Thank you. Yeah, Patsy died in like 2011. I'm sure I have that. But this is a big case, you guys. This is a big case to get into, and this is the first time I've covered this. So this is my, we'll say, intro for this. You guys, thank you guys for being here. We did 2 hours today. I didn't think we were going to do 2 hours, but there's so much more. Tomorrow we're going to get into it, you guys. We're going to get into interviews with the people that I see you guys wanting to talk about. Hopefully I'll be able to fix my green screen by then. I think I need to do some updates. Jay, in my opinion, they all played a part in covering up Chumba. That's been a big theory of mine, and I do want to find out someday, and that's why I'm covering this, because I want to find out all the things. And by having you guys on here, you guys are throwing things at me that I either didn't know or haven't looked up yet. So they were absolutely treated different because they were upper class, in my opinion. Carly, you're so very welcome. And this is a big deep dive for New Year's, right? We could have done anything, but this is like, so we want to, as we we'll say, cleanse our palates right now. I don't even need these anymore. I can take them off. I'm gonna go and hang out and celebrate the new year with the fam. Lots of my roof got done today. They're gonna come back after the new year. The DNA is gonna be tested soon. That is the whole reason why Netflix came out with this documentary, and everybody's like about it again. I mean, it wasn't even on my radar yet. I was just told by someone, you should cover this. You need to cover this case. A lot of people are interested in it, and they are. All right, you guys, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. Go support the channel. Breeze and chat, support her for all the work that she does. And if you know, you know. I will see you guys tomorrow in 2025. Thank you guys so much for everything. Love you all. Goodbye. Good night.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty?